Welcome, guys. Today we're going to be running a bit of a pricing masterclass, and what we want to teach you how to do is how to charge what you're worth and basically not charge yourself out like a dickhead personal trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yep, and undercharge yourself.
Yeah, we don't want to undercharge. We want to be very confident in how we do things, and we've got a real structure today that we want to kind of flow through with the guys.
Yep.
I guess a couple of common things. We're going to run through a bit of do's and don'ts today.
Yeah, I think the big thing we'll talk about though, like there's a lot of mistakes that they make, and it ends up majority of the time in them being uncertain of their pricing. And like, say for example, if you're in a sales situation, you need to be confident in your value. You need to be, you need to have conviction that what you are telling somebody is what you are worth, right?
Yeah.
The person that can charge the most is the person that can quote the most amount of money without flinching, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you again, you got to understand the value of what you can provide and know what it's worth. And there's an equation to do that. And there's a way to calculate what that is. And we'll show you that. But the main thing is like, let's not fucking undercharge and just compete in this race to the fucking bottom, which all PTs do because they've got 5, 6, 7, 10 other different trainers at the gym who charge varying different prices, and you're trying to compete with them. Like,
this is what I think. This is, look, guys. I've probably had close to 40-odd thousand calls since 2016, and before that, I was mentoring trainers. So I see sales calls. I see all the mess out there, and I think this. I want you to sit here when you're going through this and think, where did you learn how you do what you do? Like, how did you learn your model? Because I really want to open your mind and start to help you realize that the reason why Matt said you feel a lot of, you see a lot of fluctuation in your income week to week is because ultimately, you know, you put all your value of what you do on training sessions. Yep. And I've seen this be anywhere between $500 and $1,500 a week for some PTs. And that's not including if you go on holiday and just didn't get paid at all. So that's an expensive problem that we want to solve.
Yeah, and if you want to fix those problems, pay attention because we'll help you solve them.
Let's hop into it.
Alrighty. Let me turn that on. Cool. So we've got a simple do's and don'ts thing up today. It should be really easy, and yeah, we're just going to talk through each thing as we go through it. So the first don't. Let's go through that. Per session pricing.
Yeah, this is most PTs. They, like I said, they put all their value on training.
On the training sessions, yeah.
They do. You do so much more for your clients than training. I'm sure you guys realize that when you're sitting there and you're writing their programs and doing their updates, you're doing their admin, you're probably helping them with nutrition plans and all these things.
Even probably helping them, coaching them through personal fucking shit that they're going through.
Of course, you're a life coach. Let's add that to the list.
Yep.
But are you charging for it? No. You get paid based on if a client shows up once, twice, and then you're in the back end of your week adjusting debits up and down.
Clients can cancel on you. They can go on holiday, which means you don't get paid.
No, hang on. No, but I put them on debits, but then you make up all their sessions.
Yes.
That doesn't count.
No.
That's still charging per session.
Yep. One thing we forgot to preface is obviously your background as a coach and a personal trainer, having a long career obviously in the fitness industry and starting, I don't know how many fucking decades ago, because you're an old fuck.
Up yours. But 18, 19 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think that you, I don't know if pioneered is the right word, but definitely popularized is the semi-private stuff, is you know, charging what you're worth, doing it in a leverage model and being really, really high value. When you were running your business as a PT all those years ago, because you're an old fuck, what were majority of the coaches doing?
It's really interesting because, guys, like what I've coached and how I evolved in my coaching, like where we started, we had, I always thought about one-on-ones and semi-private was my model. It was a high value model. I didn't do so much group, but I also in the way back in the day did the same dumb shit you guys still do to this day. I actually used to charge when we opened our studio 25, 50, and 100 session packages. Now I was able to help, and there's much better ways to do it. But we generated over 250K of revenue in our studio in the first month with signups. So it was fantastic. And then there's all the other things that come with cash flow and tax management, all the other things.
You better know your numbers if you're only selling packages. Yeah.
Correct, but it's a dog's breakfast. Tracking that shit, it's a fucking nightmare, and it can be done so much better.
Yeah. My point of that was more so around the fact that when you were running your PT business, you were doing things in a very leveraged, high value way, and so you weren't doing this per session pricing.
No.
You were charging actually a subscription model. You had all your clients on a weekly debit.
Yes.
And what was the like? You didn't have a session, price for somebody who wanted to come one session a week. You didn't have a price for somebody who came two sessions a week. You didn't have a price for people that came for 3 sessions a week. You had one price.
Yes. So I switched in 2000 from the pack model to subscription when I moved into a gym in 2007. I just got that, like, you know what? You don't want to focus on selling the session. You want to sell the result. And I genuinely believe that, like, once a week's a waste of time in the gym. Twice a week is like maintenance for anyone getting any kind of decent result. And 3 times a week was how many times people wanted to be able to see me. Sometimes they couldn't. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to charge an up to 3 session a week model.
Yep.
And if they came once, they came 3 times, it was X amount of dollars per week for coaching with me.
Yep. And if they miss the sessions, it's on them.
Correct. It didn't accrue, and you didn't have to do. No, it was up to 3 because.
Look at what BFT or the Yard or any of the F45 style gyms do. How they price themselves.
Membership.
The reason that they are so big now is because they have a very smart business model, and part of that model hinges on subscriptions.
Yes.
If somebody misses a session when they're at a gym like that, which is essentially coaching. They're paying for the coaching. Then they're at those gyms for the coaching, for the workouts. Otherwise, they would go to a regular fucking gym.
Yeah.
And they would pay $12, $15 a week. They're at these specific gyms because they're paying for coaching. So you say it's a membership. It kind of is. It's more of a subscription to the coaching and the programming that they provide.
Yep.
It's just that $60, $70 or whatever a week is, it's a lot more affordable. It's not even that much. It's like 30 to 50 sometimes, isn't it?
Oh, look, that's the low end, but I'd say on average, 60 to $80 a week.
Yeah. Do you think they're doing makeup sessions or?
Yeah, no. And do they care whether you book in or not? Like, in fact, even don't book in. But I mean, obviously we want to do high value and I want people to come. That's why when you're a PT, you care that people show up, of course.
Yeah.
But don't build your business model around people showing up or not showing up.
Yeah, big time. Cool. Don't price based on other trainers. This is fucking what they all do, isn't it?
I was saying this on actually our group coaching call today. I think we all naturally, human nature is to understand our relationship to other people. So when you go into a gym, Matt was a PT of 10 years and he's charging $90 a session. So I guess when you're brand new, you go, well, I'm brand new. I'm not his, experience. I'll charge 65, right? So you look in comparison to other people. As we say, though, that is a very much a race to the bottom. And who determines your value? Well, you do. So, you
commoditize yourself, which means you're comparable to every fucking other.
Correct. Oh, he's cheaper, I'm more. Well, it's also a flex. I want to be the most expensive.
Yeah.
Obviously, upskill and get yourself, highly skilled. But at the same time, you don't want to charge based on what other people are doing. And I think that's by nature what people do.
Yep, big time. Cool. Instead, what you want to do is calculate what's called your target weekly income and your goal hourly rate. That's target weekly income. Well, I've got the wrong tool selected. Target weekly income and goal hourly rate. Your target weekly income is how much money do you want to make in a week? Yep, pretty simple. The goal hourly rate is how much do you need to earn per hour to be able to earn however much money you want in a week. The way that you calculate that is you take the total, you take your target weekly income over the course of a week, you figure out how much time do you want to spend in a week on client delivery in sessions. Then you divide your target weekly income by the amount of time that you want to spend in sessions. So say, for example, my target weekly income is $3,000 and I want to spend 30 hours a week in sessions. You divide 3,000 by 30. That should be quick math, but it's not working today.
It's $100 an hour. I want to say this.
Is, $100.
I want to give you guys an insight and rent my brain for 1 second. If you want to make, say, $3,000, a lot of trainers we speak to will want to make $3,000. there's a great book called The E-Myth by Gerber, one of the OGs on business, talks about working on and in your business. You do not want to be working, if you only have, and you want to work, say, 30 or 40 hours a week, you don't want to work more than half your time in your business in delivery, because then you don't have any time to work on it, to grow it, to build out systems, to scale it. We talk in so many other of our YouTube channels about what that means, creating a leveraged asset, online, understanding marketing, growth-related stuff, right?
Yeah, turning your business into an actual income-producing asset, which is what wealthy people do. They don't work for income. They focus on creating and acquiring assets that produce income for them.
Correct.
So if you want to do something like that, like you've got to be conscious of how much time you're spending in the business versus on the business, which is a great point.
95% of PTs are spending their time in sessions in delivery.
All of the time.
Yep, most of it, all of it, and marginal on anything else. Yep. That's why you get stuck. So what I wanted to say is that if you want to make $3,000 and I want to blow your mind up 15 to 20 hours, let's say 15 hours, might mean that your goal hourly rate is $200 an hour. That then poses the, well, if I'm charging 70 for one-on-one, hang on, I'm not going to be able to charge 200. That's when you need to think very smart about your model. There's many ways to get there, but it always requires you leveraging yourself.
Yeah, big time. Because if you are charging $70 an hour for a one-on-one session, you're limited to $70 an hour for that session. If you have a different model, a smarter model where you've got more leverage, something like semi-private or small group, or even online where it takes even less time in delivery, you're going to make a much higher hourly rate, effective hourly rate, because you might have 3 clients in a session instead of 1. So you have 3 clients in one session paying you $70. That's 3 times 70. So if you learn how to do semi-private right, and like, again, we want to stay out of the set per session stuff. So you want to, again, make it a subscription model and they get up to a certain amount of sessions, but you want to calculate the pricing for that subscription model based on what you would actually want to earn, right? What is this worth? What is your time worth to you? Because that is what determines what your value is.
By the way, what you want to earn is based on your goals, your lifestyle. There's actual numbers that make sense that achieve your goals. So we have a whole module. It's like one of the first things we do when you get coaching with us, because
it walks you through like all of the things that you want to do in life and how much those things are going to cost to help you figure out what your target weekly income is, and then there's a calculator that calculates all this shit for you.
It creates meaning behind why you're trying to, strive there. If you never charge what you're worth, you'll never achieve your goal. So you need to understand what you want to make.
Yeah, and it gives you context for why you need to charge that amount of money. And when you tell a client, oh, it's this much, it's because you know, like, you've got confidence in that.
Yeah.
It's conviction, because that's what your time is worth. You've made that decision and you've calculated what your time is worth. So yeah, spend the time and actually put some thought into it and figure out, what's your target weekly income? What's your goal hourly rate? And then you use that goal hourly rate to determine, say, your subscription model pricing based on how much time, how many hours over the course of the week per client are you going to need to spend with people. And then you divvy it up. If you're doing something like semi-private, you would divide it by 3, because then because you've got 3 people in one session, you don't have to do as many sessions to achieve your goal. Well, you don't have to, sorry, my brain.
You'll find that per session, it's very, very similar to what you're currently charging.
Yes.
It's just a different way of packaging what you do.
Yeah, 100%. Cool. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh,
that's all right. Just keep taking it off and then it'll... There we go.
Good man. I got worried for a second.
I know. I saw you drew the line. I'm like, just got to stop it up. Yeah.
Cool. So charging for individual services. Programming, nutrition. Oh, do you want nutrition?
PTs separate everything out.
Would you like a meal plan?
Well, should you learn just about training, or do you need to understand what goes in your mouth and food? And like, guys, why you would segment this stuff out when it's part of the solution that everyone needs to be healthy doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. People are coming to you for an outcome, for a result.
And if there's too many options for people when you look at your services,
you just confuse them and they don't buy.
And they go, oh, I don't know, I'll just have that.
Yep.
Right? Whereas if it was all inclusive, it would just make a lot more sense and be a lot simpler.
Yeah, big time. Instead, we want a value stack. Value stacking is where you essentially include everything in one price in the subscription model. Your clients get everything because, again, what they're there for is not programming. They're not there for nutrition. They're not there for accountability. What they're there for is a result. They're buying a result from you. They want a solution to their problems, and the way that you give them that is the value stack. The value stack is the breakdown. It's kind of like the receipt of what they get.
Yeah, if you're looking at what they need and you're talking about, right, if you want to lose that 15 kilos and you need to be training this many times a week based on your lifestyle, and we're going to be doing this around your nutrition, and we're going to be looking at that.
This is how we're going to achieve the goal.
The feature and the benefit of everything you're doing that goes into what you do is the value stack, because it's what creates the result.
Yeah, and it's in relation to the thing that they want.
Yes.
The problem they want to solve, the outcome they want to achieve. And so when you communicate it in a way that's like, cool, this is how we're going to get the thing that you want to achieve, your goal, this is how we're going to solve those problems and reach these outcomes. This thing, this thing, this thing, and this thing. And for each specific thing, what's the particular benefit or reason that we do that thing, right? We're going to train 3 times a week. I'm going to do all of your programming for you so you know exactly what to do when you're in the gym with me. And even outside of the gym, when maybe you aren't able to make it to the gym, what you can do instead. And you're giving, like, again, you're extrapolating the benefits and helping people understand the reason behind each individual component and why that's a part of that value stack to help them achieve their goal.
Yep.
It's contextual, right? Whereas this is just like, they fucking don't, like, do you want a meal plan? You want me to do a meal plan?
This is about your coaching and what you believe in. I'll say one thing, I had a great coach, and when I first started with him, I was like super stressed, I had gut health issues, I was way under eating, and once he did that, he was like, look, we're going to build up your nutrition, you're eating this many calories, we need to get you to here, and in the meantime, we're going to actually pull back your training, do 3 times a week. He's like, dude, I know you want to get to training 5 times a week, 6 times a week. When we hit these markers, and when you start to get your energy back, we'll start to bring this up, and then this will go into a bit more of a maintenance, and this is why we're doing this. I was like, I'm fucking sold. Like, this guy knows his shit, and that's how you present it in a way that's
a clear pathway to go from where you are to where you wanted to be.
Exactly.
That's what the value stack is, right? Cool. Never increasing your prices. How many PTs go through all the qualifications and all the shit? Because again, why do they do it? One, yes, sure, an element of them enjoys it. Like, they nerd out on this shit like you and I do with business and, you know, even health.
Mate, we used to run, I used to be part and run a rehab NSC course, and then we had business coaching as well. We had a guy who'd spent close to $60,000 with us in a $30,000 mastermind 2 years in a row, had so many certs. He'd spent 150 odd grand in certs. And when I looked at his price, he put his price up $5 per hour over the 2 years. I'm like, dude, like, tell me how you got an ROI from what you've spent. It makes no sense, but PTs are so scared.
As a financial advisor, you're looking at the profit and loss of, like, he's invested $60,000, but he's got $5.
Made great money, and he's spent all the money.
Yep.
Because he's not really made the return of investment. Maybe you got 5 or 10 more sessions, because you sell yourself in the idea that the smarter I am, the more money I'll make.
The more qualifications I have, the more people will value me.
I tell you right now, I've spent so much with Sykes. I can't even tell you, over $1 million in coaching. Personal development, business. It's a lie. And when you learn and you start to really, really believe in yourself, like, by all means, don't get me wrong, upskill, do things as it makes sense, but increase your personal development, your belief in yourself with it, and and we're going to talk about this.
Yeah, do the work on yourself, basically.
Yeah.
Like, fix your money fucking mindset, please.
Yes.
The 10% rule. This is how you combat the never increasing your price. As a general rule, you should be increasing your price by 10% every single client that you get. What's going to happen is, like we said on the Instagram video, your closing rate is going to go down because you're charging more, and people inherently will not want to spend as more. So this begs the question of, like, there's an interesting dynamic that works in this situation where you can get better at sales and marketing, which is also going to allow you to increase your prices even more and keep your close rate really high, because the perceived value, the perceived exchange of value that someone is getting from you for your services is much higher because you've become better at communicating that value to them. And so that's why sales and marketing is really important, because that's going to help you increase that closing rate regardless of what your price is. But then as your price increases, so too your close rate starts to come down. And so if you can maintain your close rate as high as possible based on being good at marketing and sales, and then start to increase your price 10%, 10%, 10%, you will get up to a point where you reach kind of like this this bell curve, right? You reach a point of diminishing returns where you price yourself so far out of the market that you start closing less and less and less, and then you get to the point where you can't.
PTs freak out.
Yeah.
They freak out, but it's not how it works, guys. Like, as you grow and as you're increasing in skills and investing in yourself, you have to put your price up. Otherwise, again, it creates the busyness.
Valuable to the marketplace.
Exactly. And all I'll say is this. It's like, don't be proud that you're sitting there going, I'm a really good PT and I close everyone, or I close at 90%. Because you just, no, but that's most PTs that are really good, right? You need to increase your price. Every couple, you want to make it a game. Make it a game and just bump it up a bit. Bump it up 10%.
Yep.
And you will go, someone bought it. Someone bought it. But if you're closing at 40 and 50% and you doubled your rate, this is the thing you got to understand. If it goes back to the site, if you want to make $3,000, but you only want to work with 10 people, like how much more energy, effort, time can you put into that person, give them an amazing result? Or if you had 30, that's the exhaustion, right?
There's so much more leverage, right? Charge more.
So as you gain more people that pay you more, the people that have been around for a long time that drop off that are at $100, and naturally you're going to have churn in your business. Great, we can increase because we're now no longer the person that we were 3 years ago. We're the person now that's way more skilled and way more valuable.
You might have people drop off as well, as your price starts to increase, right? You might have people that will drop off. I mean, inevitably that's business.
Yep.
The clients that stick around, once you reach the point where you get down, because again, the whole goal is to get to about a 40% close rate, 40 to 50%. You don't want to be closing everybody. If that's the case, you're way too cheap.
Yep.
You want to get to about a 40 to 50% close rate. And once you get there, you know what your market value is. And once you've reached that point, right, you'll have some people on higher prices and some people on the lower old prices. You do what's called a price increase. And you bring everybody up to the same value. Because over time, as you've increased your price, your value as a coach has also increased, like you were saying, because you're getting better as a coach, your skill sets are getting better, you're developing new systems and intellectual property and, you know, like creating things that help your clients, resources and whatever, and so they're getting more value from it. That's a sign that you should be putting up your prices.
Yeah.
Because again, like, and you shouldn't feel fucking shit about that. It's a value energy exchange. It's like,
well, you'll feel shit going, I've got clients that pay me $300 a week, and I've got clients that pay me $100 a week, and you're like, these guys give me more trouble than the guy that's paying me $300 a week. It's because when people pay, they pay attention.
Yep. One thing I will say is just fucking deal with your money mindset. Like, you will get to the point where you start to get close to the edge of your comfort zone. And when you get there, like, don't just stop. Don't just, I'll go back to my fucking little, I'll stop here. Here's enough. Like,
Your safe space.
Keep going. Like 10%, just keep going. 10%, 10%, 10%. And you will get to the point where, yeah, like Mark said, you've got people on 300, people on 100. Then you want to bring everybody up to the same thing. And if they don't join you, that's fine. Your value, you're so convinced of your value at this point that, like, you don't care if those people come or go, because you're at the point where people are paying you $300 a week to work with you. So my point is like, there's a lot of coaches I feel like watching this that are being like, oh, nobody would ever pay $300. They're all about the money.
No, it's that you value your time.
Yep.
There's an opportunity cost to everything in life.
Yep.
And where you put, like, I could spend my time with you, or I could be spending it with my kids. It's when I choose to work and when I want to work and how I want to work, I know my worth. It is as simple as that.
Yep.
Guys, I have 27, 25 hours a week I can work. I've got 3 kids. They run around upstairs if you can hear them. Everything we do has to be leveraged, and this is what we want to teach you, because we want you to be the best, most highest leveraged version of you, so you have a fucking amazing life. So charge what you're worth.
Yep, 100%. And if you have issues charging what you're worth, again, deal with your money mindset. Do the work on yourself. Like, it's so many coaches struggle with the pricing thing because it's a self-worth thing rather than it's how they see themselves. And the second, like, we've had people like literally increase their prices and go, like DJ is the example. He was charging $250 a week for online.
Yeah.
For online.
Yeah.
But to get to that point, he had to have that identity shift. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Where he had that identity shift. And as soon as that shifted, he's now like, that's my worth. That's what I'm worth. And he believed in that, and people willingly paid him that because the value exchange, the perceived value that they were getting from him for that service was way higher than anything he'd ever done.
Yeah.
Anyway, last thing, packs of sessions, selling packs of sessions. That's always fun.
I had a call with a girl this week on it. This is when a lot of people, they live the feast-famine cycle. They charge, 5, 10, 20 session packs. And then what happens is they come up to the end of their pack and you've got to have that weird conversation and you've got to resell them to keep training with you. When they signed up and they had a goal and they know it takes time, and if you could take 12 to 18 months to make yourself even redundant or not needed if you have done your job well as a coach. And by the way, if people stay with you, they love it because they love community and they love the ongoing results, and that's cool, but that's what you want to do. If you're charging packs, if they have done a 10 pack and then all of a sudden, I don't know, a couple of bills came in, they popped a couple of tires in their car, they're like, look, mate, I can't do it right now.
Yeah.
And you're always chasing your tail.
What if they delay their sessions as well? Or if they spread their sessions?
Well, that's the other thing they do.
Period.
Oh, I'm not sure. And then they don't show up because, again, you put your price on per session training and blah, 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 right?
Yep.
It's silly.
What do we do instead?
Obviously there's a minimum term you want to work with people. Look, when I was in the gym, I only took on someone for 12 months. I didn't care if it scared them.
Yep.
I'm like, if you want this result, it's going to take you this long, and everything you're going to teach them and everything you spoke about in your sales process, it takes time, right? To actually get the result, and not just to get you there, but to keep you there.
And to build the identity of being a healthy person so that the results are lasting.
Yeah.
As well. So what we've got here is 4 to 12 month PIF. PIF stands for pay in full. And it's based on a time frame, not a number of sessions. That's the key component of it, is that like you can still sell lump sums of like large amounts of money, but you want to have it set at a certain time frame, right? You start at about 4, and then you can build up to 12. I mean, you can always give people the fucking option as well. Don't take the privilege of them, their right to make their own decision away from them. Like, give them the choice. And if you explain to them, cool, if you pay for 12 months up front, you actually save $2,000 over the course of the year.
Yeah, or your minimum term, this is something I want you guys to stand in, like, you also, if you're not doing 4 months of coaching and we're not getting in this to actually get you a great result to start, like, for me, that's a test time. 4 months it's a test. I want to make sure that you are enjoying the coaching, that you love it. I want to make sure you're showing up for it. And then from there, like, we can talk about how you're able to continue with our community and everything that we do here and continue on going. But I want that to be like a minimum initial test. Otherwise, kind of, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't be for everybody. You shouldn't want to work with everybody. There should be a specific kind of person that you have in mind that you actually want to work with, that are your favorite kind of clients. And if you do have that kind of person in mind, you will want to vet people. As you get more experiences and as you learn to value yourself more, you will get to the point where you have certain people that just end up working with you and you're just like, I fucking hate this cunt.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to work with him anymore. But like, what do you do in that situation? Like, again, you could tell them, hey, I'm not going to work with you anymore. But that's kind of like, yeah, I feel like most of them are going to have issues with that as well because they don't want to say no to people. People pleasers, right?
Yeah.
Been there, done that. It's not fun. So yeah, like fucking, yeah.
Have a test period, have an initial period where you want to work with people.
Vet people.
Right, and
thank you for picking up my idea.
You're vetting them. And then beyond that, obviously, we wanted to continue to get you the result, and we'd love you to be part of this long term. That's a nice initial period, and you want to go to ongoing. Guys, what we wanted to give you today was a paradigm shift. Get you out of the thinking and remember, come back to, if you want to solve the fluctuations in your income, the stuff that frustrates you, if you want your income to be $3,000 every week, right? And if you want to stop selling
on holiday and actually still get paid, or take time off over Christmas. And
guys, have a look on the podcast. There's guys talking about, it was great. Came back from holidays, Matty Rufus, and I was getting paid my $2,500. He goes, it was the best Christmas holiday. I had 2 weeks off. I got paid. I loved it. If you want to do that, by all means, like, I hope you've enjoyed this pricing masterclass. I think we went pretty deep on that. It was actually a lot of fun. If you'd love to learn more, please feel free to reach out. Otherwise, there are some fantastic resources on our YouTube channel that they can watch.
Yep.
We good?
That's pretty much it.
Sweet.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Ciao.